So I've had a few requests lately to do a video about some of these Pittsburgh Harbor Freight ratchets that I've got. Now, the requests I've gotten were really kind of twofold. My opinion on Harbor Freight stuff, and I had a couple questions regarding, how good these ratchets actually are. And I guess I can start this video off by saying that, honestly, for the money, they are very good ratchets. These four ratchets, and these three in particular, I've been using the most out of all of my ratchets that I have here. Now, I really like this one. This is the Pittsburgh Composite Ratchet 3/8 inch drive. This is also sold in the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch drive variety. And honestly, it's a really smooth ratchet. It's very lightweight, like really lightweight. I've put a good amount of stress on this one, and I haven't been able to break it just yet. I've not done a torture test on it, but that'll probably happen in the near future. I didn't know what to think of this ratchet at first when I first saw it. I wanted to try it out and make a video about it if it failed prematurely, but so far it's actually been a great little ratchet. Now this one and its smaller brother, the 1/4 inch drive, this is a 3/8. This one is quite a bit heavier than this one. This one, in fact, is about twice as heavy as this composite one is. These swivel ratchets are very handy to have around. You can move the head around like so, rotate it around, and normally what I do with these is I'll break torque or I'll start the threads and then I'll kind of use it as a screwdriver and screw it in that way. But again, the actions on these are very crisp. I believe all four of these ratchets have 72 teeth, but all of the gearing in them just sounds great. I believe you can get this one with the coupon for about 12 or 13 bucks, but it retails for $15.99 without a coupon. But you can get them on sale. It seems like Harbor Freight's trying to push these a little bit harder. I don't know if other people besides myself initially kind of had that same feeling about buying essentially a plastic ratchet. But honestly, it's not bad. It really isn't. These two, on the other hand, I've not really been able to find these with a coupon or anything, but this one retails for $15.99, and the smaller swivel ratchet retails for about $12.99. Both of them are very handy. I use them quite a bit, and this one retails for $12.99, but this other Gear Wrench branded one that I have retails for about 30 bucks on Amazon. Now, I actually got this on sale from Sears, and I think I spent on this one about the same as I spent on this one, if I remember right. I picked this up a couple years ago, so my memory on that, what I spent on it's not all that great. But the interesting thing about these is they're all made in Taiwan. All of these ratchets are not Chinese made. They're all made in Taiwan, and it seems to be a good thing to me because I don't know this to be fact or not, but it would not surprise me if these Gear Wrench branded tools are made in the same factory as these Pittsburgh ones. It would not surprise me, but I don't know that for sure. But this Gear Wrench one, I believe, is 72 teeth as well. It is a little bit quieter, although not by much. So this is a great little wrench to have, but as far as Harbor Freight's ratchets are concerned, the quality of them is actually very, very nice. They feel really well in the hand. They are not uncomfortable to use. As far as any quality issues or casting marks or anything like that, there's nothing really too major that I've been able to find with these. As far as how they were put together, there's really not much of a difference. Now this is a Craftsman Evolve ratchet, which kind of has its own story behind it. But I actually just had this one replaced under warranty, which was a huge pain in the ass. And this one, you can kind of see the molding for the grip is got these two small nubs on it. Not a big deal, you know, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, I'll still use this one just fine, but the Harbor Freight one doesn't have any of that on it. It also seems to be built just as well, if not better, than these Evolve branded Craftsmans, which I think these are made in China. Not sure about that again, but I'm pretty sure they're made in China. This one, I believe, is a 42 tooth ratchet. It has its place. The last one that I had of this one, the handle came off of it, so I glued it back on with silicone. And what finally led me to take it back into Sears for a replacement was it started binding up on me. It was just worn out inside, so you know, I took it apart and had a look at it, and it was definitely worn out. So I went ahead and took that back into Sears, and a little bit of coercion got them to replace it for me. Now this other 1/4 inch ratchet, it retails for $8.99. This is a 1/4 inch Pittsburgh stubby ratchet. This one is probably the lowest quality. That's not to say it's bad. This one, the action doesn't feel or sound nearly as good as the other ones, even though it apparently has the same amount of teeth. But it seems like this one's a little bit noisier. It doesn't feel as crisp as this one does, for instance. But it's not a bad little ratchet. It's got its place, and I've used it quite a few times. But honestly, these Pittsburgh branded tools have really come a long way. Harbor Freight has done a lot lately within the past few years, where they have really boosted their quality control of a lot of their hand tools. And much of their hand tools that they have available, not only is the price significantly cheaper than the other brands such as Cobalt and Craftsman and, you know, whoever else, Husky. Husky's got some good tools, but we'll leave that for a separate video. You know, they're just as good at a cheaper price point most of the time. And that's the big thing for me is, you know, a lot of the newer Craftsman stuff is all Chinese made. The quality does not match how it used to be, you know, 6-7 years ago. I mean, Craftsman, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, has really gone downhill. And I think a lot of that has to do with Sears mismanaging the whole line. As a company, they are going under, and they just sold their Craftsman line to Stanley Bostitch, I believe for like quite a bit of money. Hundreds of millions of dollars they sold it to them for. So, I mean, I'm hoping that they kind of turn Craftsman around and bring them back to what they were, because Craftsman is really an Americana brand. I mean, they're a classic American brand that's always been American made. And even though in, you know, the 80s or 90s some of their stuff was made in Japan, predominantly much of their stuff has been, you know, not Chinese made until, you know, within the past 10 years. So it's really kind of unfortunate what's going on with Craftsman, but I would choose many of these Pittsburgh tools you can find at Harbor Freight over their Craftsman counterparts. I'm not saying even the Chinese Craftsman tools are bad, but again, it comes down to the price point. These tools are, in most cases, 1/3 of the price than what you would pay for a comparable Craftsman branded tool. It's just the nature of the beast. To put things into perspective, this ratchet retails for $13 if you buy it just by itself, just as the ratchet. Not a bad ratchet. It's not horrible. But for $13, we've already established we can buy one just like this from Harbor Freight, which I much prefer over that ratchet. And for a ratchet comparable in terms of quality, this one comes in at $9, which is still a cheaper price point than the Craftsman Evolve ratchet. That's really kind of my general overview with a lot of Pittsburgh's newest tools that they've come out with. I've really been honestly pretty impressed with much of what they've come out with over the past few years, like I said. And I hope that they only continue to improve, because Harbor Freight's really come a long way, and it's nice to see that there's some decent competition to these other brands at a good price point as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, subscribe. You all stay classy.